Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome to my fan commentary on episode 34 of Power Rangers in Space, 5 of a Kind, which is part 3 of the main part of the Psycho Ranger storyline, because discounting Carlos on call again. We continue the story thread about Dark Spectre losing his powers because, again, is a culprit of Astronema backstabbing him secretly with the Psycho Rangers siphoning away his energy and his residuals. I don't know how on earth did the production team did the effect of Dark Spectre going from red to blue and just like with him losing his power. On the chessboard, you can see the unpainted Space Ranger figures from Bandai, and believe it or not, we also have prototype figures of the Psycho Rangers, what could have been, for the Psycho Rangers back when Bandai did the toy license for Power Rangers at the time. Because looking at the head sculpts on the unreleased Psycho Ranger figures that they showed on this episode on the chessboard, and how they were strategizing how they're going to take down the remaining Psycho Rangers, since Pink is out of the picture. But those figures, though, I've always wondered about how Psycho Ranger figures would have looked back then. Because this episode just showed them. You can see them right here on one frame with the prototype Psycho Pink figure that never did come out of the frame. For years, I have longed to have Psycho Rangers for action figures, but luckily, good thing Hasbro did a Psycho Ranger pack. And also also with earlier releases of Psycho Red and Blue earlier on in the Power Rangers Lightning Collection, earlier on with Psycho Red with that Lost Galaxy pack back in 2019, and then Psycho Blue by himself as a GameStop exclusive. But then they will re-release those guys again, part of that Amazon exclusive Psycho Ranger pack. Because, again, they just showed the Psycho Ranger figures in the episode, the figures we never did got of them years ago. But, again, kudos that I'm glad that Hasbro decided to do the entire team. Although, earlier on, right around the 20th anniversary of In Space back in 2018, we did get, in fact, those legacy figures of the Psycho Rangers with silver and green notwithstanding. But we never did got yellow and pink in the legacy collection before Bandai inevitably lost the license to Power Rangers to Hasbro for the toy license. But back on the main series. Now, when TJ swapped those figures of the Rangers around, so how they will combat the Psycho Rangers with the different colors. If you thought fighting all 5 of them by the exact same colors was tough enough, see how would it feel when they feel like the plan would, work. If each of the Rangers were fighting the Psychos in a different color, let's say, like, for instance, red fighting yellow, black fighting, blue, and then, Psycho Blue, and then, like, the others fighting Psycho Black and whatnot, in different shots, because since they don't have to deal with Psycho Pink anymore. Personally, 5 of a Kind in general is the highlight of the saga, because the way how they had to think out the box, something that they should have thought about the last 2 times they encountered the Psycho Rangers in this instance. But since this is a Blue Ranger episode, sort of silver, because again, wait until we get the Psycho Silver later. Here comes Zhane on the Galaxy Cycle. Man, it's just Psycho Blue is just wailing his axe on TJ really hard and right in the back. What is it with TJ getting injured so hard in this season? I just don't get it. You can see some of the rip tears in the back of the suit briefly because what looked like was blood in the back, or like the spandex. because, you know, there's like black spandex underneath the multicolored suit. Great. I can't believe Dark Spectre had to interrupt Astronema watching over the Psycho Rangers defeating the. Now, that effect of the Psycho Rangers disappearing, that was again via Mega Ranger because, well, they gotta go by what was in that footage with that wavy teleportation effect, which is awkward and very liquidating. Yeah, I don't understand. TJ is always getting knocked out every chance he did in the season as the Blue Ranger, because given what was in the Mega Ranger footage, I mean, it happened back in TJ's identity crisis. Then the previous episode when they had to deal with Psycho Pink, and I had to make it look like he was injured. And then in this episode, TJ getting his ass whooped. God damn! I understand TJ's not the leader of the Ranger team anymore, but god damn! You know, tell it to the same guy who was playing the voice of Psycho Blue will later eventually do the voice of the Riddler in the Batman Arkham games, because it's the same voice actor. So the more of the Psycho Ranger's energy they burn, this will probably wipe out Dark Spectre, because this is what she was secretly planning. What's with the flowers and stuff? You know, TJ's not that sick. And you know, the Astro Mega ship ain't no, well, unless if it's a spaceship hotel, sort of. What I believe also with TJ looking through all the footage of the past fight with the Psycho Rangers, I believe they used what was one of the tapes they used for, you know, like how typically with production on Power Rangers before they add all the finalized effects. Oh, the whole "you're supposed to be in bed" thing. Well, I'll remember that in a future Lightspeed Rescue episode when Chad would tell the same thing to Kelsey. Just you wait. This is how they would actually, when they showed the raw footage of the Sentai footage with the added voices of the American actors for PR, I think that's how they kind of sort of do it in post-production of a Power Rangers episode back in those days. Yeah, it was nice that they did that. Because you can see the time, you can see the timer on the bottom right side of the screen. And again, while Sentai was still being filmed on the film stock, Power Rangers was still filmed on videotape. So unless they had to get what was a VHS copy of the fight footage from Sentai, or I don't know how they did it, but whatever it did, well, they got it for the episode just to figure out how they did it. So the only way how they have to fight the other Rangers is if everybody had the same color as TJ. That's pretty effective because this was also a Mega Ranger also. The difference is when Ashley and Cassie have the Blue Ranger suit, they still have a male body. That was the same problem also in Mega Ranger. When Mega Yellow and Mega Pink would, you know, in order for them to confuse Nezzy Blue, how many Blue Rangers are there for him to fight? You know, with all these Blue Ranger clones, we just can't make a difference which one, you know, 3 of them have to be male, including TJ as the main Blue Space Ranger, but 2 of them, that being the girls in the blue suit, because they all have the same suit. as TJ, just as a diversion to distract Psycho Blue and make him only see the Blue Ranger. Because I know Psycho Red is like one of them has got to be the Red Ranger, because again, he is so obsessed with Red. Well, Black is sort of chill about it. It doesn't matter who's the Black Ranger, but as long as you got to find who is in that suit. You know, they should have thought about this before. Having the same color to distract the other Psycho Rangers, but knowing Blue is only going to see Blue, but Red just want to find out which one of these Blue Ranger clones is the Red Ranger, given Andros' voice in one of the suits, and Black trying to find out which one of the Rangers is the Black Ranger. Kind of wish we should have had a Blue Ranger clone pack in the Lightning collection. I don't want to wish Hasbro for that, but then I'll be paying more for In Space Blue if I did, even though we already got the In Space Blue Ranger with the Galaxy Glider thing coming out, which will be pointless. Oh, here we go. Here's the thing that we got that inspired Hasbro to do the In Space Blue Ranger Psycho Silver 2-pack. Although Psycho Silver, not really an evil Psycho Ranger, but I mind them doing a Psycho Silver, even though he was just more of a ploy to make everyone think Psycho Silver is brand new to the table. But when really it's just Zhane underneath it. And also knowing Psycho Silver has a similar version of the Super Silverizer weapon that Zhane would use as the Silver Ranger. So far we have, as of recently, 2 figures of the Silver Psycho Ranger ever released within recent years. The first was that legacy figure of the Silver Psycho Ranger, which was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from Bandai America before they lost the license. And then recently Hasbro in their Lightning Collection Psycho Silver Ranger bundled with In Space Blue. So make that 2. But it feels like, just like the Lost Galaxy Red versus Psycho Red 2-pack, I think that 2-pack with In Space Silver and Psycho Silver, In Space Blue and Psycho Silver, seems pretty pointless. It seems pretty pointless, but take it if you will. I mind that because, we never really had we do have those colors, but wait until I discuss a little bit about Psycho Green in a separate video. Not this, but in a different video series. And how, I understand that everybody wanted a Psycho Green Ranger to exist because, when the Psycho Rangers do come back next season for Lost Galaxies team up with Space, then it's like, some wish that instead of Psycho Black fighting, Carlos and Damon, knowing that Damon is a Green Ranger, Psycho Green could have existed then, but no. And just wondered, that's just how Justin Nemo figured, okay, well, since we had the Psycho Silver suit, he would eventually do that Psycho Silver cosplay in some of the Power Ranger fandom conventions or something, or even with photo shoots with the fans, and even for cosplays on his Instagram, because Psycho Silver, it was a great strategic move for Zhane to do, just to trick the other male Psycho Rangers to think a Psycho Silver exists in the spectrum, but Astronema never even came up with a Psycho Silver Ranger. So this was really all Zhane's ploy, and even same going Mega Ranger when Mega Silver did the same thing, doing a phony Nezi's Silver of the spectrum there. Psycho Blue's monster form would be similar for Psycho Green's monster form in the Boom Studios Power Ranger comics. Because I figured when I look at Psycho Green's monster form, it's similar to Psycho Blue's, but for a Psycho Green Ranger. But again, when I discuss Psycho Green outside of this video series. With Psycho Blue, he's supposed to be that of an ice monster, so it made sense for him to go with that aesthetic because blue and the color blue with ice and snow matches. It's one of the few times we've seen Megazords being frozen in the snow or ice in Power Rangers and Sentai, so this was not one of the few times, because even though when I do discuss Blue to the Test from Lost Galaxy next time, whenever I do get around that in my fan commentary, it hardly ever snows in Power Rangers. That's just Psycho Blue's snow and ice power causing the snow around the Zord fight, which is nice to do. And while the Megazord cockpit, the Mega Voyager cockpit is all red and stuff because they had to defrost the Megazord from being frozen in all that snow and ice. So they finish off Psycho Blue with the Mega Voyager and with the Mega Winger and then the V3 missile, and with some bit of ice power for the Mega 3 missile. That was a way to defeat Psycho Blue. So now with Psycho Blue out of the picture, it's only down to the 3 remaining Psycho Rangers: Yellow, Black, and Red, when I discuss Silence is Golden tomorrow. We hardly ever hear villains. Oh, there's that money shot I've seen from one of the, for that money shot from when they were promoting the saga on Fox when Astronomer says it's time to defeat the Rangers, and this is exactly in this episode. Because again, I remember back in the days when Fox Kids was airing Power Rangers back in the 90s when I was that young. I remember how they made the Psycho Ranger saga such a huge event for one whole week. In fact, this whole entire saga was the big event before Countdown to Destruction, of course. It was nice for them to think about, modifying the megaship's engines and stuff before they take off to find Zordon again, but they still have to deal with the Psycho Rangers. And what I also like about the end of this episode, while it's a cliffhanger setting up the next episode of the saga, we do get some bit of pep talk about, TJ and, Andros talking about after they dealt with the Psychos, but not only that, Andros still worrying about his sister. When fighting all 5 of them, they were hard, but now with the 3, yeah, with the remaining 3 now going into the next episode, it is going to be harder, really hard, and that's why we're going to get into the penultimate 2-part sort of conclusion to the saga, even though they will come back in, Mission the Secret City and Ghost in the Machine, once we get to those 2 episodes. I don't know if I do want to do commentaries on those episodes or not, but I think I'd just rather focus on just discussing more of the 5 main Psycho Ranger episodes, excluding Carlos on Call, which I have already done 2 years ago when I was discussing episodes relating to Carlos for that one time. So it's best I'd rather not discuss Carlos on Call again, just get on straight to the damn point.